Welcome back. For more on our top stories and others, please visit our website, channelstv.com, and on youtube.com/channelsweb. Log on to m.channelstv.com to watch us on your mobile device or download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS, and Windows devices from their respective stores. The Channels TV and Channels 24 app will give you access to news and updates. You'll also have the eyewitness feature, so you too can be part of the news. Now, the Lagos State government is set to provide a 22,700 capacity holding bay for trailers and tankers in the Apapa axis of Lagos. The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Transportation, Taiwo Salam, said this at a stakeholders meeting to decongest the gridlock. The meeting, convened by the Nigerian Navy, had in attendance residents, security agencies, as well as business operators in the area.
The ugly face of the Apapa gridlock stares at us continuously and has become a bad dream Lagosians would wish to wake up from. Lack of holding bays, activities of security agencies, inaction of the government at all levels have all been attributed to the continuous jam on the road. The impact on businesses and life in Apapa worsens by the day. Blames and counter-blames over the persistent gridlock have led to this stakeholders meeting facilitated by the Nigerian Navy.
These bridges you are seeing, they are our national assets. We have to protect them.
Representation is from security agencies, Apapa residents, New Pang, tank farm owners, First State, local authorities and other business organizations.
The holding bays that we normally have before now, why are they not working? Why are they not obeying?
However, there appears to be works in the pipeline, according to the Lagos State government and the Nigerian Ports Authority.
Lagos State government, we are going to provide a capacity of 2,700 capacity. We are already working on it, and His Excellency is very, very passionate about it. And soonest he will hear us. We also want MPA under the federal government to also talk to their concessionaire and make available this lily pond.
Each of the terminal operators operating in the port and the shipping companies must send a list of their trucks coming to the port daily to the office of the port manager.
Fears on lack of proper and adequate commitment in dealing with this dilemma are voiced by other concerned persons present.
The kind of inhuman treatment our members receive daily from security agents is out of this world. There is no shipping company operating in Nigeria today that owns a holding bay.
Well, after the day's deliberation, a committee that will profile workable solutions to the problem of Apapa gridlock has been set up, given a 7-day time frame. Hopefully, in the next couple of days, we should begin to experience visible changes here. And this is one dream Lagosians would want to see realized. Chris Elems, Channels Television News.
Well, it's International Women's Day, an event celebrated on March the 8th every year to commemorate the movement for women's rights across the world. Issues of women's empowerment, girl-child education, and political rights have been on the front burner in Nigeria. Now let's take a look at some of the celebrations across the country. Celebrations did indeed take place. Meanwhile, an advocate for women's rights is disturbed about the persistent interruption of girls' education, especially in the Northeast. She wants the federal government to provide greater security for women and girls in educational institutions. For the British High Commissioner to Nigeria, Mr. Paul Arkwright, it's high time women in the country were given greater representation in governance and encouraged to run for elective office.
There are lots of very strong women who speak very eloquently about some of the challenges facing women here. But how can we improve that representation? I think there are a number of things that can happen. You mentioned France, and in the UK we're behind France. You're right in saying that. But it's about party structures. It's about what the parties do at the candidate stage, at the primary stage. How do they make it easier for women to apply to become candidates? What about the financing of it? We shouldn't shy away from some of the cultural issues that women face here in Nigeria. And of course, women themselves. You know, there's a certain reticence, I think it's fair to say, among some women about standing in political processes, standing for local assemblies, standing for national parliaments. So I'm interested in really fostering that debate, seeing what we can do to get those voices heard. They are out there. How can we make them heard? How can we give them a platform?
There are a lot of socio-cultural barriers, that actually for this disparity between boys and girls' education. A lot of things that happen that make girls stay out of school or make them drop out of school. One of such is actually early marriage. You see a lot of girls are being married off at an early age when they should still be in school. Another one is economic reasons. You see a lot of girls working when they should be in school and all that. And for the Northeast in particular, coupled with the security situation, is actually fueling a lot of people leaving school. Parents are no longer, because protection is very key in terms of education. If parents feel that their children will not be safe in a school environment, then they might not be confident enough to keep them in school. So we see the dynamics of the conflict situation in Northeast are actually fueling the disparity further. It's very important that the government takes security situation seriously, that we beef up security so that parents are more confident to keep their girls in school.
Mr. Paul Arkwright speaking earlier, the British High Commissioner to Nigeria, before Joy Aderele, an advocate for women's rights on International Women's Day. And joining us on the program for more perspective on today's celebration is Juliet Benite of the Institute of National Transformation. You're welcome to News Across Nigeria.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the opportunity to be there.
You're welcome again. And what do you think should the focus of Nigerian women be? What do you think the focus of Nigerian women should be on International Women's Day today?
I believe that one of the critical issues for the African girl child, and specifically Nigeria, according to the global trend issues, is education. The development of the mentality of the girl child and designing policy that protects her. Because there are issues of policies that are not protecting the girl child, and that is critical in this season. There's so much that is happening at the same time, especially with this Chibok girl and this next issue that happened. I mentioned the last time that the issue of policy is critical. The National Assembly, the House, must look into the issue of the girl child critically. We are being assaulted on every side, and it's not acceptable. So I believe on this day of International Women's Day, one of the critical issues is whatever we are pressing for progress on this part of the world. Each country has the pressing issues, and that uniqueness needs to be identified. And Nigeria just can't be on the global picture without focusing on her own issues. And for the average girl child, the issue of their mentality, how they view themselves, their worldview of themselves and the entire world in which they live in is still threatened. And so we can have these issues of people adopting girls and kidnapping girls, violating girls, battering in homes, and so many attended issues that need to be addressed quickly and critically in this season.
And today, to draw attention to these issues, Juliet Benite of the Institute of National Transformation. Stay with us. We'll be right back to talk some more on International Women's Day.